Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, Mark auditions for the role of Mario in Illumination's rumored Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's a me, Mario. I'm gonna win. It could use some work. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, joined as always by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We have got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including the rumors of a Mario animated film and Game Freak looking to shake things up with Pokemon on Switch. And then on Thursday, we're going to be coming back for our Thanksgiving feast, talking about a bunch of different third-party games, L.A. Noire, Skyrim, Doom. But Mark, in the meantime, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
I was rocking a little bit of a headache earlier, and so I'm trying to just like center myself a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
drinking a Gatorade.
Nothing centers oneself like a low-calorie G2 lemon lime.
I mean, you were reading that slogan right off the bottle: "Is nothing centers oneself like a low-calorie G2 lemon lime."
What does the 2 stand for? I obviously don't drink enough Gatorade.
I don't.
Because,
Right.
Because what is G2?
So Gatorade claims to have like a whole system of like, here are the things you eat and drink before and after your workout. G1 is the like carb heavy, like kind of sugary gel stuff that you eat at like the beginning of a run. G2 is the most like drink like thing, which is just like has a lot of electrolytes and whatever.
Classic Gatorade.
Classic Gatorade is G2, and then G3 is the recovery shake, heavy in protein, like that sort of thing. So
gotcha.
If you followed a whole Gatorade regimen, you would do G1 before your workout, G2 while you're working out, G3 in the recovery period afterwards.
And of course, we all follow the Gatorade workout regimen.
Of course, and you would be diabetic because there's way too much sugar in it.
Diabetic, but maybe you'd be enjoying this lovely weather.
That's right. Let's move into the weather. Even kind of chilly.
Look, I know we always I always complain about the weather.
Right.
I'm gonna do it again.
Go for it.
So on Thanksgiving, it's supposed to be like 85 degrees.
Okay, now look, we are not yet to Thanksgiving. We will get there, Mark.
I know. Okay, fine. Right
we'll
now,
complain about it in the future.
Right,
what I'm saying.
Right now, it's lovely. I'm loving it.
Very good. Our guest weather today is from Bethesda, Maryland. No doubt an acknowledgement of Doom and Skyrim coming out on the Switch this last week. It seems like Maryland is kind of rocking a 50-ish degrees and cloudy. Right?
Yes, that is right. Big ups to Maryland. Bethesda, Maryland, specifically the rest of Maryland, you can wait your turn.
But I mean, at least moderately sized ups to the rest of Maryland. Mark says no.
I'm not saying no. I'm saying we shall see.
I see. So we're really doing this on a week by week basis,
city by
city. What size ups you get depends on
whether you're the city of the week or not, and of course, biggest of ups to Bethesda, Maryland.
Very good. All right, let's move into what we've been playing this last week. Now, a lot of what we've been playing is we're going to talk about in Thursday's episode. So
Episodes,
yes. Look out. We're going to hit you with 3 mini-ish episodes, each talking about Skyrim, Doom, and L.A. Noire. Not necessarily in that order. You pick which one you're interested in.
Or all 3.
Or all 3. Who cares?
Or 2 out of 3.
Yes. Or listen to none of them and just wait for the next news episode. My feelings will be hurt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Mark, I might revoke my biggest of ups.
Oh, well, okay.
I can do that.
You can, but only to cities that you have already issued big ups to.
That's right. So everybody in Bethesda, Maryland, listen to all 3.
Mark, have you been playing anything other than the three aforementioned games?
Only Stardew Valley. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit of Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley, an ongoing thing for you?
Mm-hmm. I've been doing just like a little bit at a time. Alex and I are very close to getting engaged, I believe. I
Oh,
just gave
very
him
good.
the bouquet, so we are now officially boyfriend and boyfriend.
I think it's just boyfriends. You're now officially boyfriends.
We'll never know. Alex and I call it boyfriend and boyfriend. That's
Well,
just a cute
fine.
thing that we do.
Oh, great.
But other than that, I am in fall of the first year, and fall is thus far my least favorite time,
Mm-hmm.
only because it's like ugly. The colors are ugly.
Right, and can you not grow anything in fall?
You can. They're
Oh,
like
you can.
fall
Okay.
crops. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I guess kind of what I think I'm gonna do is make it through the first year and then reset and go to like a different location. Like
Mm-hmm.
try playing differently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But giving up after a year of it,
I don't
then.
know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
I continue to play Super Mario Odyssey. I beat the. How do I do this without spoiling it? There is a like extra challenge course that opens in the post game. That is very long with no checkpoints in it. And I got to it and beat it this weekend. And feel really good about it. It was so much fun to do and to play. Um,
Is it easier or harder than like I guess what I would call the equivalent one in 3D World?
Easier. Because and easier than the perfect run in Super Mario Galaxy 2, the 242nd star in that game. Because those both that and the very last level of Super Mario 3D World, I never beat because they're just too hard. This one I probably worked on for like an hour and a half straight. And sometimes getting like really deep into it because what even when you're doing it right, it probably takes 10 minutes to run the whole course. Um, but yeah, it's just cool and fun and plays a lot of like the greatest hits of like captures throughout the game. And is just like really smart and fun and fast. And I had a ton of fun doing it.
That sounds super interesting. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing the speedrunning community
Yes.
that builds up around Odyssey. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah. Well, that'll be super cool to see. Especially for the courses like this where it's just like, oh, you just have to be a wizard to get through it. And like I've been, as I often say when talking about Odyssey, have been using the long jump, throw the hat, dive to the hat, jump off the hat, throw the hat, dive again. And doing there are a lot of points in this course where that's like a necessary move to like get through it without dying. Which I guess is to say to get through it. But it's just cool to see the kind of like extended technique of the game become necessary. I have also re-taught myself how to play ARMS, which was a tough relearning curve.
Going motion controls?
No. I'm just going pro controller these days, which seems more precise. But yeah, I had the game last time I was playing it up to difficulty level 5 of 7. And I popped right back in at that and got destroyed like immediately, hopelessly, helplessly. And so I knocked it all the way back down to 1 and like went through a circuit with a new character and then like back to 2, new character 3. And now I'm sitting comfortably at level 4, but man, it's that game can be so hard when you're playing on anything but like the easiest difficulty levels. But I'm enjoying it, and I like the two new characters, and yeah, it's a good game and just like a solid fighting game. I'm happy to have it as something I can revisit. All right, Mark, let's get into what is going to be coming out next week and what we might be playing next week.
We have a couple of 3DS new releases
What?
coming out today. On the eShop, there's Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. That was a DS game that is being ported or brought over by Capcom to the 3DS. This is one of the Ace Attorney series, a series I love that I have not played.
Now, Apollo, he's another attorney in the Ace Attorney universe?
Yeah, so it's like
Okay.
he is kind of, so they made these the Phoenix Wright games,
Mhm.
and then Apollo Justice like exists with Phoenix Wright. He's just kind of like a side character that they gave his own game.
Can I just say, these characters have the best names.
Oh, yeah.
Apollo Justice and Phoenix Wright.
They're pretty amazing. And there was actually a whole interview around the kind of like marketing for the release on the eShop of Apollo Justice, where they talk about, because like their names or like the localization process and how they come up with these names, because obviously the names in Japanese are not Phoenix Wright or Apollo Justice at all.
Right.
And I can't remember any specifics from this
Very
interview.
good, Mark. Very good.
But it's worth seeking out if you have any interest at all. Also, there's yet another River City Ransom game. I guess they're just called River City games.
Yeah, at least in the United States, they are of the Kunio-kun series.
That's right.
So yeah, like River City Ransom or that River City Tokyo Rumble.
Yeah, I always
from like a year ago.
The one I'm most familiar with is River City Ransom, so I assume all of these are in the River City Ransom series, but that is of course not true. They're all in the River City
series.
Yeah. Is that the name of the town in Music Man? No, but it is the name of a town in Iowa, right?
River City is the name of a town in Iowa? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up. Keep going down the list. Okay. I'm looking it up.
All right. And then, of course, there's a ton of Switch releases coming out. I'm just going to name some of them.
Great.
Gear Club Unlimited, Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack, which I think is like the physical release of those Azure Striker Gunvolt games. Super Beat Zonic. And then on the 23rd, on Thursday, we're getting Portal Knights, Stick It to the Man, Transcripted, Worms, WMD, Kid Trip, Letter Quest Remastered, Mantis Burn Racing, Crimson Land.
So the indie gold rush continues. What is Portal Knights? Why are all these games have night in them?
I know, it's kind of confusing because they all vaguely sound familiar to me. I could not tell you which one specifically Portal Knights is.
All right.
and then of course November 24th is Black Friday here in the United States. And The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Explorers Edition that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago includes like a double-sided map and like a little booklet of lore and stuff. That is coming out. And then
sorry about that.
And then
the sound of searching.
Then the Link Nintendo 2DS that includes a download of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D with that like classic Link, like green and yellow, is coming out on Friday as well.
Which is a good deal if you want to play Ocarina of Time again. Or for the first time ever, I guess. It's as far as I'm concerned, the way to play it. River City is the name of the town in Music Man. So
that's awesome because now in my head, all of these games take place
in the Music Man universe.
Music Man universe.
I like that. Were there any of these games that you were interested in picking up, Mark?
Well, we were talking a little bit before the show began, just like all the games that are currently available that I have not purchased, that I'm still interested in picking up. None of, like you were saying, you're kind of wanted to see what the reception of River City Rival Showdown was.
Oh, River City Rival Showdown, I'm super soft interested in.
Oh, okay.
I think probably the Tokyo Rumble was probably enough to hold me over for a generation.
I just can't believe how many of these games
this is the third one that we've talked about coming out since we started doing the show a little over a year ago. 3. That's all.
But no, there are still there's not really anything this week. Maybe Portal Knights once I learn what that is, which one of those that is. But no, but there are like games that were released earlier this year that I still haven't picked up, including one I think was released last week, the VVVVV
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it's called. That looks really cool. I still want to get
Batman Telltale.
yeah. What was the one that's like Azure Striker Gunvolt, but
Mighty
oh
Gunvolt
yeah, Mighty
Burst.
Gunvolt
Mhm.
Burst, like all of those. There's so many like indie or smaller titles that I still want to pick up, but just don't have time to play.
Right. We only have time to play so many games, which is a good problem to have, I guess.
It's a good problem to
So
have.
many games. All right, let's move on to the new releases. And now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, in honor of the holiday, let's discuss the things for which we are thankful.
All right. I'll start.
Okay, good.
I'm thankful for caramel M&Ms. And the reason I'm thankful that they exist
Mm-hmm.
is because they always sounded so delicious to me, and I always wished that they would make them, and then they did,
So
and
wait,
they're
hold
not
on,
very
hold on,
good.
hold on.
And so now I don't
I
have
love
to
that. So you imagined caramel M&Ms
Uh-huh.
before they existed.
Yes.
You conceived of them.
And I was like, that would be so good.
And
right?
then
Because like peanut M&Ms
Right.
or peanut butter M&Ms are
Right.
so good. Regular M&Ms are so good.
Almond
Crispy
are
is
fine.
disgusting. And, you know, so you're like, that's a pretty good batting average.
Mm-hmm.
And I love caramel. So I bet
Mm.
if they made a caramel M&M, it would be really delicious. And they did make them, and they're gross. And now I don't have to eat them anymore. I don't have to wonder.
I think that kind of tracks though, because I don't really want a small ball of caramel around an M&M. You know what I mean? Like caramel is nice when it's like there's a layer of it on something, or when it's like a big gob of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, the M&M the proportion seems wrong to me.
Yeah, and the consistency of the caramel
Yeah.
is no good. But let us not dwell on the negative.
Oh yes. Let's see. I will be thankful for my bike, and my ability to ride my bike to work has been very nice. I have been doing it a little bit less as it gets cooler and more frequently dark. I get out of work at 4:30, and even sometimes at 4:30 it's too dark for me to like ride my bike home.
Is there more darkness during
The winter?
Yeah, is there more darkness
Hmm.
during the winter, or is it just like is darkness shifted? Like it becomes lighter earlier, and I'm still asleep for that part.
There is more darkness.
Okay.
Um
Well, I'm certainly grateful for summer.
Oh yes.
When there is
I am grateful for summer
when
for
there's
sure.
more sunlight.
Here's the thing. I'm grateful for spring. Summer's a bit much. I am grateful for the fact that it is not mandatory that we see Justice League.
I am very thankful for that.
Because there was a little bit, I think, in my just movie going habits and like general nerdery, like comic book fandom, that like there's a Justice League movie, naturally you're going to see this movie. I don't feel that obligation. I'm excited not to see it.
And I'm thankful that that time has passed me as well.
Yeah.
Even though for me it was not that long. I don't think it was that long ago. Like I think 2 years ago I would have seen Justice League.
Yeah. Like without question, opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then been writing about it on the internet.
I'm thankful that there is a new Star Wars trilogy
Yes.
in the works from Rian Johnson.
That's good. I mean, it gets me extra excited about the next one, The Last Jedi. Bodes well for it. I'm thankful for let's see, what else am I thankful for?
How much time do we have left?
I don't know. I try not to look at it until the applause happens. I am thankful for the abundance of recordings of 433 available for free on Vimeo and YouTube. People really like to put up this piece.
I'm thankful for saltine crackers that you can put peanut butter and honey on and eat with chicken noodle soup when you feel sick.
The crackers are out because Sarah is not feeling super well right now, so she is also eating them in a sick kind of way. I am thankful for the brightly colored sunglasses that I have a yellow pair, a red pair, and a blue pair, and I can decide which of these silly colors of sunglass I want to wear.
I am thankful for porgs.
Yeah, Porg seems super cool and cute.
And those are two things that I really like.
I am thankful for all of our listeners who are putting up with this little exercise in us being thankful with things.
I'm thankful for
means a
the
lot.
15-second skip ahead option
Mm-hmm.
that is available to all of our listeners who we're so thankful for.
Yes.
In case they're not thankful for this segment.
You think that they 15 seconds skipped past me saying I was thankful for them in the first place?
No, I'm saying if they wanted to, that's probably what they were waiting for. And then they were like, oh, great.
I am also thankful for seatbelt laws. They save lives. All right. We were accompanied today by Jürgen Dahman.
To whom we are very grateful.
Oh, absolutely. Mark, let's get into the news.
All right. First up, the Wall Street Journal reported last week that Illumination Entertainment, which is a subsidiary of Universal, known for movies like Despicable Me, Despicable Me 2, Despicable Me 3, Secret
Minions.
Lives of Pets. Oh, yes, the Minion movie.
Also Sing.
Yes. Which, oh man, now it's like in my brain because I was about to say, for all of which we are not entirely thankful. But that Illumination Entertainment is close to an agreement with Nintendo to produce a Mario animated movie. So like a full-length feature film. This pairing makes sense to me because Nintendo's already working with Universal very closely on the Super Nintendo World theme park lands that are coming to Universal theme parks in the next few years. So yeah, if they have a good working relationship there, it makes sense that they would continue to work with Universal, in this case, Illumination Entertainment.
So you've teased some of my worries already, which is of the movies that you listed: Despicable Me, Despicable Me 2, Minions,
Despicable Me 3.
Is there a Despicable Me 3?
There is.
Is it called Despicable 3?
It's not.
Okay, well it should be. I don't have. There's not a lot of love lost for me with that studio.
Yeah, totally.
I like the original Despicable Me movie. Okay, I thought it was good and cute and fun and funny. But I don't think I've liked a movie of theirs since.
Yeah, I totally agree. But do we need anything more from a Mario movie than to be just like light and fun and funny?
Well, what do we need? I mean, I don't know. Like what I have zero expectations for this movie. Not like not that my hype level is super low, but that I have literally no idea what a Mario movie could be. Like a full-length movie. Mario movies or Mario games aren't driven by story or anything. I suppose there are like the Mario RPGs and whatnot, but like I don't know, can it really just be like 90 minutes of Mario like running and jumping around and like flipping and going wahoo?
Yeah, I also don't feel like not only do I have like zero expectations, but I have zero desire for it.
Yeah.
Like I like Mario. At this moment, I don't know that I need a Mario movie.
I would even say I love Mario and I don't need a Mario movie.
Well, so the interesting thing about a Mario movie is that Mario is like not a very interesting or dynamic character in and of himself. You know, like we love Mario because he's fun and he's cute and he cool and he gets to like do cool things.
Yeah,
but
he's a player avatar who's always having more fun than you are. Like Mario's having so much fun. That's it. That's like all I see him as.
But it's not a character that we care deeply about.
No.
And so you have to do so it's like he's a popular character that you would have to do so much work to give like an arc.
Right. And like, do we want an arc? Do we want to see Mario change? What is this?
So part of the rumor in the Wall Street Journal, or part of the Wall Street Journal's reporting, is that Shigeru Miyamoto would be like a consultant on it, like a producer on it,
Yeah.
probably closely involved, like he is on the Super Mario World theme park lands. So that's encouraging.
Right, that he's not going to let them do something too stupid with Mario. And also since he's collaborating on the theme parks and was heavily involved in Super Mario Run, like he's being a good ambassador for Mario to platforms he's not normally on.
Oh, and Rabbids. He was
yeah,
like,
and Rabbids, yeah.
I guess like, yeah, just like the logistical questions of this. Like, does Charles Martinet do the voices?
I mean, I hope so, right?
No, I hope so too.
What do you want Mario to speak like in sentences?
He would have to. That's the
Would
thing.
he?
That's what I'm saying is that like it's like it'd be like making a Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah.
Link would have to be he's like your main character. He is your like hero.
Right.
And so not unlike in the video games, you can't get away with him not talking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like with Mario and with Zelda and like all of these, they're incapable of going on heroes' journeys as far as I'm concerned. Like all they can do is like be faced with adversity and overcome it. That's it. Like there's no like inner turmoil they have to like I just don't see how any of them can do anything other than like go on an adventure.
And for like a Mario game, and obviously maybe the limitations of my imagination are preventing me from seeing what can be done here, but I don't know. I feel like in developing this movie, you have an impossible choice. You either do what everybody's expecting, which is Princess Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser and Mario goes on an adventure through the Mushroom Kingdom to like get her back.
Right.
Right?
A story which seems more regressive with every passing week.
Or you do something completely unexpected and run the risk of people being like, what is this? This isn't a Mario movie.
Yeah. People saying that when there's only ever been one other Mario movie. And we can agree that we didn't like that one.
So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I just don't really know how to feel about this because I don't feel strongly one way or the other. If a Mario movie came out and was bad, it wouldn't.
No, that sure wouldn't change anything.
It wouldn't change anything.
The only thing that it would change, and I could see this being a real bummer, is that it could. I would expect to see elements of that Super Mario movie in the Super Mario Land, like theme park attractions. Like I'm sure there will be enough of a firewall between movie and game. Like we're not going to see a tie-in game or anything like that. Mario is king of video games. He need not stoop to appease the Mario movie. But yeah.
Now the International Olympics Committee.
Oh well, yes. Well, no, Mario and Sonic. First of all, they had to team up to take on the International Olympics Committee. I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like a weird blip on the radar, and I know that Nintendo is trying to make more of their intellectual property, but just profoundly untested at this point.
Absolutely. So the Game Awards are coming up, December 7th.
Okay.
So, what is our level of caring about the Game Awards?
Just in general?
Yeah, I think
pretty low.
Yeah.
I'd say. I know the Game Awards that there are occasionally announcements and reveals and whatnot. But by and large, it seems like it is, just an opportunity to put the names of games up on a giant screen and have a room full of people applaud at a game they've played, or haven't played and are pretending to like for some reason. I don't know. I really don't care.
Well, what would you say if I told you that both Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild are nominated for Game of the Year?
Wow, I would say that makes the Game Awards like every other video game outlet this year. If you are a video game website, podcast, YouTube show, magazine, and you're nominating games for Game of the Year, two of those nominees are The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. No question.
Well, what if I told you that Splatoon 2 and ARMS were also nominated in other categories like Best Family Game and Best Fighter?
Well, then I am turned around on it entirely, and I'm very interested in the Game Awards now.
So are we? It sounds to me like we're gonna do a live.
We're going to do a live stream reacts video with the Game Awards so you can get our reactions to, best sports simulation game in real time.
Uh, obviously we haven't hashed out our plans for the live stream fully, but I assume we're going to buy lots and lots of bottles of Martinelli's like sparkling cider so we can continue to drink it and like always be prepared for spit takes.
Oh, yes.
Right? When it's
absolutely. Why don't we do that for this show, Mark?
What if we do a reaction video to this show where we're drinking lots and lots of Martinelli's sparkling apple cider and then doing spit takes every time one of us says something unexpected?
Or something that we're thankful for.
Or something that we're thankful for. Turn that into a drinking game.
But be careful.
Well, we talked about it a little bit in what we were playing, but ARMS had a big update to version 4.0 this week. It included a new fighter, which, how do you say this?
Misango.
Okay. Wasn't sure how to do that without sounding racist.
I just did it. If that sounded racist, I apologize.
If that sounded racist, you could borrow Patrick's copy of Sonic Forces.
Hey, yeah, let's talk about this for a second. I offered / kind of push it upon our listeners. If you would like to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces, please email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at
gmail.com
with your home address or a P.O. box. I don't care. I will send you my copy of Sonic Forces, play it for a little bit, return it whenever.
This is a real thing. This isn't a joke.
I mean, it can be both. It can be a real thing and a joke.
Well, I mean, it's a real thing that will happen to you if you request it.
That's right. And I'll laugh about it. It's real and a joke. You can play it for as long as you want and then send it back to me. I'm going to include a self-addressed stamped envelope so it is a painless process to send it back to me. No one took me up on it. I am deadly serious about this. Please write to us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com.
There's also a new stage in ARMS version 4.0.
It's Misango's stage.
Temple Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're doing what they're calling a Party Crash online event from the 24th of November to the 27th of November. And it seems like it's kind of like ARMS Splatfest. It works a little bit differently, obviously. But I think you choose a side between Springman and Ribbon Girl.
Yep, and they can earn like extra coins in their online matches and stuff. So it, a good reason to revisit the game and play over the Thanksgiving weekend. But specifically, not specifically, just more generally, they've been doing, and we've talked about it every time that it pops up. But all these like quiet little additions and fixes to ARMS in general, and the game plays so much more. Like the entire experience feels better and fuller and smoother when I played this last weekend versus when I first picked it up. Just the addition of like 2 more characters in that roster, even if you're not using them, just to encounter them as you're playing through the campaign or playing online, makes it feel like a more diverse, complete game.
Yeah, I'm curious what the future holds for ARMS and for the ARMS IP.
Yeah,
because it seems like it was like a moderately successful, like double, but not really a home run.
Right.
But it seems that like as a core fan base, I just wonder if there's room for it to like continue to grow. I don't know. It's an interesting like IP. It was like an interesting experiment. I wonder how successful Nintendo views it.
I wonder also, like, ARMS to me feels like it is going to be a like a distance game, right? And not like, Zelda and Odyssey are both sort of like sprints, right? That they are amazing experiences on the front end, and even though they're both very long games, like you have your amazing time with it, and then you're like, okay, I'm more or less done with that. And even though those can be weeks or month long experience, whereas ARMS seems like something I can revisit every couple months, see what's new, see if there's a new character, remember how to play the game again, and have fun every time I do it. So like I wonder if that's part of their strategy with it.
And I think that's definitely like what they are trying to do, and kind of a repeat of the success they've had with that same strategy with Splatoon and with Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
Right? This idea that like they're always going to be supporting it. There's always going to be something new for you to come back to and experience. I guess personally, just like my own anecdotal experience is that ARMS feels less approachable than like
Yes.
a Splatoon 2, like a little more like technical. But I also don't think if they had launched with all this stuff initially, it would have changed my perception or the general reception of ARMS. You know, it kind of is what it is, and it has a like a healthy fan base. But and you know, you can do way worse than that. And speaking of Splatoon 2, this past weekend, North America had another Splatfest where it was fantasy versus sci-fi. Fantasy ended up taking the victory in both popularity and solo battles. Team Sci-Fi won more team battles at 51% overall, but 2-1 Fantasy took it. Did you jump into Splatoon 2 at all this weekend?
I did not. I didn't even pick a team in this one.
I played a little bit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got in. I did. I chose Fantasy, but I only played like 3 or 4 matches. I spent more time in Salmon Run because I love Salmon Run.
Yeah.
But the time I was playing, it was a bad, or at least for me, like a bad mix of weapons to choose from. It had like 2 sniper rifle type things.
What? Like the charge shot things?
Yeah, and I don't like. I'm bad at those in general in Splatoon. And I feel like they're terrible for, or at least I have no idea how to use them in Salmon Run, which I feel like is so like fast paced.
Yeah.
That having to like charge and shoot, or just like keep jamming the trigger and just shooting out like a little bit of ink every time wasn't an effective strategy for me. I feel like I feel like Salmon Run is really dependent on like the mix of weapons for how much like time I want to put into it or how much I enjoy it.
Tell me if this reads as true to you. I feel worse disappointing my team in Salmon Run than like in regular Turf War.
Yeah, I totally do as well.
Like when I find myself using a weapon I'm no good at, I'm like, oh, everyone's gonna hate me.
Well, only because it like the focus is different.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can have, I guess you kind of can in Salmon Run have one person carry you, but it feels. But it's
that
like,
feels more difficult, especially in like the third round of it.
Well, and especially when you get some of the variations on it, like the glow flies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think like one person cannot carry you in glow flies because they're going to get glow flied, and then everything is just going to swarm them. And so I'm sitting there with like a sniper rifle thing that I don't really know how to use, just kind of like yeah. So we didn't get very far. So I apologize to anybody who played with me this weekend. That I messed up your perfect Salmon Run because I was not able to use the 2 sniper rifle things. Man, that game is split. I mean, like you were saying with ARMS, it's so much fun to just like go back to. You know, I don't play it regularly that much anymore, but when I do go back, I always have a blast. And then finally, HAL Laboratory seems to be teasing a new Box Boy game.
Box Boy!
So at the end of a video posted to the official Japanese YouTube channel, they included a graphic that showed all 3 of the games that have been released so far. And they were all on the 3DS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Box Boy, Box Boy, and
bye-bye,
Box Boy.
And so it was a graphic that had all 3, and then down at the bottom, like QB's peeking up, and it says, "To be continued?" ?
What?
So HAL Laboratory has discussed the multiplayer possibilities of the Switch in the past, but stopped short of confirming a new game. But give it to me, HAL Laboratory. I would absolutely.
We will take it. A new Box Boy game on Switch and or a Box Boy trilogy on Switch.
Oh, yeah, I would totally buy that. Especially because I think the Bye Box Boy, and I'm sure all of them were like $5.
Yeah, they're super cheap games.
Also, bring the QB amiibo over here, you cowards.
Cowards! We are calling you out. Bring that amiibo here.
It's so cute.
It's very cute. It's just a little cube
with arms.
With arms and legs and like little eyes.
It's all we want.
Look, we are very happy with our ultra detailed Guardian amiibos from Breath of the Wild.
Look, we're very thankful
for the
there we go.
Amiibo. Why didn't I say that?
because it's supposed to be not Nintendo related.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Mark, let's get out of the news.
Okay, I lied. Sorry. I
No,
forgot
okay.
one more thing
How are we supposed to trust our newscasters, Mark?
that I wanted to talk about. Okay,
Mhm.
so there's been a bunch of rumors recently that Game Freak is looking to do something quote disruptive with Pokemon on Switch.
Game Freak, of course, being the developer of Pokemon.
Absolutely.
Something disruptive.
So, on a recent Easy Allies podcast, it was mentioned that after Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, both kind of in their own way broke from the formula
Mhm.
of what we expect from a Mario game and a Zelda game, respectively. Game Freak is looking to do something similar with Pokemon.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It sounds a little bit too much like fanboy wish fulfillment to me because, ever since, oh man, I don't even know, the Wii, GameCube, like GameCube maybe, people have been imagining what like a Pokemon MMO would look like, or like once Breath of the Wild was released where it's like, what if you had a Pokemon Breath of the Wild? And
Yeah,
I
so
just
for people who maybe the term MMO might be a little bit stranger, we're a Nintendo podcast, right? MMO is a massively multiplayer online game, usually followed by the initials RPG, role playing game. So the kind of like World of Warcraft, where people are in an active multiplayer world, basically, which is borderline what Pokemon is, just like with the online part of that just being like the real world, kind of, right? Where you just have to like find other people to play against. Um, so yeah, I mean, it does seem like a short trip or like an obvious extension of like what the series could be. I don't know. What are you thinking? Do you think that's what disruptive means, or do you think it means something different?
well, I don't know because it's Game Freak is such a cautious developer. I would say, like, and I don't I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where I don't know how much the real world is being reflected by what
Sure.
like the hardcore quote unquote whatever that means, like fan base for these games that is buying every iteration, getting it to the post
Right.
game, have like all like over 700 Pokemon. If those people who I feel like are the most fervent um and persistent like base of these, it needs to be switched up sort of thing, like w- if that's reflective of the population as a whole,
Yeah.
because they've kind of been doing the same sort of pattern where they release a generation, then they like iterate on it,
Mm-hmm.
release a generation, then iterate on it, remake an old game. Like it's all very safe and
Right, and even like I mean the newest Pokemon games, even though they are very pretty and they have super deep systems, all of that DNA is in the original game, right?
right,
Like,
it's more about like careful refinement
hmm
than it is like
and
huge
expanding on it, really. But yeah,
totally, and instead of huge like iterative changes. And
right.
so
We've
I
we've
don't know.
never we've never been forced to ask what it means to play a Pokemon game separate from Red and Blue at the beginning.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the jump to HD, maybe the jump to Switch
Hmm.
is a good time for that, but also maybe it's not because Game Freak isn't the most they don't I don't technically their games are not always the most polished. Like they don't
Sure.
put as much focus onto the technical aspects of their games.
I mean that being said, the sheer volume of characters and character designs in something like Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon, even if those games kind of chug a little bit or like I mean, they're really not that glitchy considering the huge variety of like characters and types and stuff
Right. I mean, we're
in
going to be
that game.
talking about Skyrim on Thursday,
We are
so
going to be talking about Skyrim on Thursday, so we will talk about glitchy stuff. Um, But yeah, I mean it's a good point that like we don't necessarily think of Game Freak as like a powerhouse kind of but like we also don't think of Nintendo that way either. And that doesn't stop Odyssey and Breath of the Wild from being like genre redefining games.
totally. If I were betting, I would say that this new game is not going to be groundbreaking. Like, I think it'll just be a continuation of the Pokemon formula.
And I think it will be groundbreaking, but
Is this one of our $1 million bets?
$1 million bets? I'm saying that it will be groundbreaking, but for the match 3 puzzle genre.
Perfect.
Right. Can we get out of the news now, Mark?
Yeah, for real this time.
Here we go. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you like the show, please rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. That helps us out a lot. It's one of the big ways that Apple Podcasts and iTunes shuffles podcasts around and says, oh, here, this is something that you would like. Random person looking for video game stuff.
Yeah, no joke. We really do appreciate everybody who has left us reviews. It really helps us out a lot. Yeah, we really are thankful for each and every one of you, and we hope that you have if you're celebrating it here in the States, a safe and happy Thanksgiving, even if you're not in Bethesda, Maryland.
Right.
I wish you all the biggest of ups.
Whoa, are you giving universal ups on Thanksgiving?
Only to those listening right now.
You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, we are at NinCart Society. On Facebook, we are just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Look out on Wednesday. I'm on the podcast Teen Creeps talking about the Lois Duncan novel, Killing Mr. Griffin. It was a super fun time. And
That's the Family Guy character?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the character's name is Brian Griffin, and his wife's name is Kathy Griffin. So this is the kind of It is actually a remarkably good book. Lois Duncan is the writer of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which in its original novel form is a lot less slasher movie.
I didn't even know it was a novel.
Yeah, it was. It's, like a kind of quiet meditation on like guilt and like what 4 teenagers do.
Yeah.
And it's like the characters are all very richly drawn and like have deep inner lives, and the writing is like superb. And then she went and saw the movie, wasn't involved in like the development of the book into a film, saw it and was like, what are they doing to my characters?
That's like a Saving Mr. Banks situation.
Yes,
P.L. Travers.
It is.
It's exactly the same.
So if anyone wants to adapt Lois Duncan's life into that, also Lois Duncan wrote all of these books about like kind of like soft thrillers, right? So there's frequently like murder, but never in like a like slashery kind of way. Her own daughter was murdered.
No.
In real life.
That's so sad.
It's super sad. Sorry to tee that up like a joke, only to say something super sad. If you like Mark and Mine's opinions, we write about comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. If you like his music, you can listen more of it on 8bitbetty.com or right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers, thanking you for listening.
What's a Creative Podcast Network?